See, that's what happens when cousins.
Rock concerts often get chaotic, featuring mosh pits and intoxicated brawls that create an intense atmosphere. However, sometimes fans push the limits, throwing objects at performers or storming the stage to cause disruptions. These unruly fans inevitably face the consequences, much to the satisfaction of onlookers. Phil Anselmo. You might be curious why Phil Anselmo commanded a fan to kneel during a performance. Well, the fan had made a foolish mistake. How did he end up in such a degrading position? On November 15, 2007, excitement buzzed through the air as heavy metal enthusiasts filled the venue in Corpus Christi, Texas, for a down concert. Trouble first manifested when a beer can was hurled, hitting Anselmo. The music abruptly stopped as the frontman, now soaked in beer, glared into the crowd. The audience, shocked by the sudden interruption, anxiously awaited Anselmo's next move. Phil Anselmo, a man who had faced adversity both on and off the stage, was not one to be disrespected. He addressed the crowd, his voice cutting through the tension like a knife. He called out the coward who had thrown the beer, challenging them to reveal themselves. But the perpetrator remained hidden, shielded by the anonymity of the crowd. The band resumed playing, but the incident had left a mark on the night. The energy had shifted, and there was a sense of unease in the air. Then it happened again. A second beer can, hurled with the intent to disrupt, struck Anselmo. This time the frontman's patience had run out. In a moment that would become the stuff of legend, Anselmo stopped the show and issued an ultimatum. He demanded that the next person who threw something be brought to the stage. The crowd, eager to appease their metal idol and to see the show go on, complied. A young fan, accused of being the beer-throwing culprit, was pushed forward to face the music. The stage was set for a confrontation that would go down in history. Anselmo, towering over the fan, exuded a presence that was both menacing and magnetic. The crowd watched in a mix of horror and fascination as the fan was forced to his knees, a public act of shaming him for the disrespect shown. Anselmo put him out of his misery and asked security to kick him out. He'll definitely think twice before throwing beer cans at Rockstars.
What did I see? I come with a flare over the cocksucker! You creep!
Bruce Dickinson. It's July 2022, and the stage is set for a night of unforgettable rock mayhem. But amidst the headbanging euphoria, a single act of recklessness captures the attention of none other than Bruce Dickinson, Iron Maiden's formidable frontman. The night was alive with the roar of guitars and the pounding of drums as Iron Maiden, the titans of heavy metal, commanded the stage in Athens. But as the band tore through the song, a sudden flare pierced the darkness, its bright flame cutting through the dimly lit stadium like a signal fire gone awry. In that instant, Bruce Dickinson, the band's storied vocalist, spotted the flare from his vantage point. Known for his commanding presence and theatrical flair, Dickinson's performance took an unexpected turn. "I'm going to sing up there, sucker." He then stopped singing until the start of the next verse. In a new interview with Rock Hard, Dickinson has expressed some remorse for his actions. "Oh, the guy swinging his thing and everything else. You know what? I probably got his nationality wrong. I shouldn't have called him a Greek."
See, that's what happens when cousins.
Dave Mustaine, the legendary frontman of Megadeth and former member of Metallica, recently made headlines during a show in Stockholm, Sweden. Known for his fiery personality and no-nonsense attitude, Mustaine faced off against a pair of unruly drunk hecklers who attempted to disrupt the concert. Their slurred shouts and obnoxious behavior pierced through the wall of sound, aiming to steal the spotlight from the band they had come to see. One fan shouted that he could play the guitar better than Mustaine. "I can play better? I can play. I'll show you." Seems like the Rockstar's patience had run out. Mustaine's eyes narrowed as he pinpointed the source of the disruption. The music briefly gave way to a tense silence as he addressed the hecklers directly, his voice cutting through the noise with a razor-sharp edge. "Shut up, shut up, shut up." Mustaine, never one to shy away from confrontation, made it clear that he would not tolerate their disrespect. With a stern warning, he signaled that their time in the spotlight was about to be cut short and that he would have them removed if they continued being unruly. The hecklers, perhaps realizing they had bitten off more than they could chew, were forced to apologize. "If I have to say it one more time, I'm going to ask security to take your drunken ass out of here. Do you hear? However, the rock star had one more insult for the pair of drunks before he continued his show. Right, see, that's what happens when cousins.
Have we got any Nickelback fans in Portugal? Are you sure? Up to you. You guys want to hear some rock and roll or you want to go home?
Nickelback. By the year 2002, the hate for Nickelback hadn't yet reached the crescendo it later would. Still, just like pretty much all musical acts, Nickelback already had its fair share of haters, or much more than its fair share, as a result of the way people felt about Kroger and Nickelback. Some observers may have wanted to blame them for what happened in Portugal in 2022. After all, in many cases where bands storm off stage after only performing a couple of songs, they are the ones who are being divas. However, once people began seeing footage of the moments that led to Nickelback walking off stage, it was hard to blame the band. Instead, it seemed very clear that Nickelback was simply trying to perform until people in the audience wouldn't let them. In the footage that was uploaded on YouTube, Nickelback could be seen performing their second song of the night while rocks were being thrown at them. Instead of instantly storming off, Kroger tried to do what he could to make things work. Have we got any Nickelback fans in Portugal? Are you sure? Up to you. You guys want to hear some rock and roll, or you want to go home? Kroger wasn't ready for what came next. As a fan threw a rock that caught him on his head, the rock star decided that he had had enough and walked off stage, but not before flipping off the crowd.
You two, all of you, come up here right now. I want you, everybody that's doing that, come. You have a free chance to play. No! Look at me!
Black Veil Brides. If there's one thing we've learned over the years, Black Veil Brides frontman Andy Biersack is not afraid to speak his mind, especially when it comes to defending his band. At a show in Vancouver in 2015, things came to a head when the vocalist grew tired of an audience member heckling the group. According to reports, the band stopped playing a song after a member of the crowd screamed that he wanted Memphis May Fire to come back on stage and play again. The frontman then challenged the audience member to come up on stage and play the guitar to show how it's done. We have stopped our whole show so that you can play the guitar right now, and yet every single time when we do this, you never have the balls to come up and do anything. Come on, split the crowd, come play the guitar, you virtuoso little... After gaining his composure a bit, Biersack gave the hecklers an ultimatum. Go up on stage and play the guitar, or leave the show altogether. Look, man, I'm not trying to be all Satan aggressive, but when somebody wants to ruin our show, I want them to show us how much better they are than us, because we get to be up here because of people that want to see us play. So you can leave, or you can play the guitar better right now. Forcing the issue, he then tossed the mic into the crowd to let the audience members speak. But a few seconds later, he went into the audience to confront the person while security rushed behind him to stop the altercation.
I don't know what you're trying to do. You're lucky I didn't f*** you up, bro.
Josh Homme. In the annals of rock and roll, few moments capture the raw intensity of a live performance quite like the night. Josh Homme, the force behind Queens of the Stone Age, confronted a stage invader by 2014. Queens of the Stone Age had firmly established themselves as rock royalty, with a legion of dedicated fans and a back catalogue of hits that had left an indelible mark on the genre. It was during this year, at the height of their powers, that a concert would become the scene of an unforgettable incident. Amidst the fervor of a live performance, where the energy of the crowd met the intensity of the band, a boundary was breached. A stage invader made their move, not knowing that they would soon come face to face with the unyielding spirit of Josh Homme. This moment would not only underscore the sanctity of the stage, but also highlight the unspoken pact between performer and fan, a pact that was about to be spectacularly defended. Josh Homme was having none of it, and he pushed the stage invader off the stage and continued his performance amidst the crowd's cheers. Maynard Keenan. It's February 23, 1997, at London's iconic Astoria Theatre. Tool, the band known for their deep, complex musical and lyrical explorations, is about to take their followers on a journey through their latest album, Enema. But amidst the slow-building crescendos and the shamanic musings of frontman Maynard James Keenan, the script of the night takes an unexpected turn. The lack of instant thrills and mosh pit bangers appeared to be too much for one young gentleman who decided it would be a good idea to interrupt the show by jumping up onto the stage and dancing around with his arms in the air. What happened next was the stuff of legend, as Keenan, unfazed by the breach, dealt with the intruder in a manner as unpredictable as live shows themselves. The young man approached vocalist and jiu-jitsu expert Maynard James Keenan, who promptly used his martial arts skills to flip the invader over, pin him to the ground, and sit on him, impressively without missing a beat in the song. And that's where the intruder remained for the remainder of the song, face down on the Astoria stage, while a half-naked Maynard continued singing on top of him. As the song climaxed, Keenan finally let his captive loose, and the young man, who had now been on the floor for a good 10 minutes, weariedly stood up and was led off stage, looking a little confused and massively jaded by his run-in with Maynard.
You don't fight at my show, you. Hey, look at you. Get the out of my show right now.
Dave Grohl. In July 2011, Foo Fighters headlined an amazing show at the iTunes Festival in London. What a night it was. In the crowd at the Roundhouse were such celebs as Jimmy Page of Led Zeppelin and various members of Metallica. Then Brian May and Roger Taylor joined Big Dave on stage for a rendition of Queen's Tie Your Mother Down, and even the late Lemmy showed up. But the reason we still remember this gig was the moment that Dave Grohl proved that he runs a tight ship at Foo Fighters gigs. Amidst the excitement, a disturbance rippled through the crowd. There was a kerfuffle down at the front of the crowd, and it appeared that someone had started a fight. In an unexpected twist, Dave Grohl, frontman of the legendary band, took matters into his own hands. The rock star stopped the show to give the fighting fans a piece of his mind. The rock star then made it clear that dancing was the only thing allowed at his shows.
You don't come to my show and fight. You come to my show and dance, you asshole.
The year was 2008, and Queens of the Stone Age were at the height of their powers, touring the world and captivating audiences with their latest album. It was during this time, at the Norwegian Wood Festival in the picturesque city of Oslo, that a moment of discord would unfold.
Hey, do me one favor though. Don't throw shit at me. If you throw something at me, I'm not so sick that I can't go down there and beat the shit out of you, you know what I'm saying? Turn the around, you chicken get. I will you up.
As Josh Homme performed, the air crackled with tension. Homme, known for his fiery persona, was pushed to the edge. A flying object, a flash of anger, and a retort that would echo across the internet. This was not your average rock show spectacle. A fan decided to throw an object towards the rock star, and let's just say it didn't end well for him. The day was especially hot, and the rock star had been sick for several days. But according to him, this wouldn't stop him from dishing out a beating or two to anyone who deserved it. And then, all hell broke loose.
I may have a 102 temperature and been puking for 3 days, but I'll still butt you in front of all your friends.
After the fan who threw the object towards him turned his back on the rock star, then he insisted that he be brought close, where he exacted his revenge by throwing an object at him. He was whisked out of the show.
You beautiful. Get the off my stage before I punch you in the fucking face.
You'd think by now, if Billy Corgan had established anything, it's that he takes his music seriously, or that he cares not for what he's done, but what he's doing. So the worst thing you could do is take the piss out of him while all he's doing is playing music. Enter this guy. Well, the rude stage invader was about to find out that what you don't do at a Smashing Pumpkins concert is interrupt a Rolling Stones cover. Billy Corgan, who had reunited with Jimmy Chamberlin on this tour, was covering Angie that night when the stage crasher decided to invade his space. The mercurial frontman was anything but welcoming and immediately told the overzealous fan off. The fan seemed to have no care in the world as he started to dance to the tune. However, Billy Corgan made it very clear how he felt about an audience member jumping on stage to dance to his band's rendition of Angie by the Rolling Stones. The warnings seemed to hit home quite fast. The fan must have had knowledge of Corgan's extensive wrestling background, and of course the no-sarg tone used meant that a beatdown would follow. The stage crasher, unwilling to get punched out during a Rolling Stones cover, quickly left, and Smashing Pumpkins soldiered on. The incident had people on the internet divided. On one hand, Corgan handled the situation poorly, while others commended him. Yeah, maybe Corgan was a bit mean, but why should one audience member think themselves special enough that they alone can unceremoniously bridge the magical gap between band and fans and pose a potential danger to the Rockstars. Fat Mike. In a shocking turn of events that left fans stunned and the internet ablaze, Fat Mike, the notorious lead singer of the punk rock band NOFX, made headlines with an explosive encounter during a live performance. A situation escalated rapidly as a seemingly inebriated fan made his way onto the stage, leading to an unexpected and violent reaction from the frontman. The footage, which circulated across social media when the incident took place in 2014, captured the moment Fat Mike's patience snaps, resulting in him punching and violently kicking the fan before a bewildered audience. The air was electric, thick with anticipation, as the crowd surged with punk rock energy, awaiting the infamous NOFX to take the stage. It was a night like any other for the band's loyal following, with fans clad in studded jackets and bandanas, their spirits high, and voices ready to shout along to the anthems of their youth. As the venue's lights dimmed, signaling the beginning of the show, the atmosphere was palpable. Fat Mike, the band's charismatic and often controversial lead singer, stepped into the spotlight, his presence commanding the room. Little did the audience know, this night was destined to be etched in the annals of punk rock history, for reasons beyond the music. The stage, set for a memorable performance, would soon become the backdrop for an incident that would ignite a firestorm of media attention and fan speculation. It was during one of the band's cult favorites that a fan who appeared to be under the influence made his move. Clumsily navigating through the crowd, he approached the stage with a determined, if unsteady, gait. The music was loud, a sonic force that seemed to propel him forward as he dodged security and clambered onto the stage. For a moment, time seemed to slow as the fan stood there, swaying slightly, a defiant grin on his face. The band played on, but eyes began to shift towards the unexpected guest. The fan's presence was an unwelcome disruption, a break in the unwritten contract of respect between performer and spectator. In the blink of an eye, the situation escalated. As the fan's approach was met with a swift and forceful response, Fat Mike, reacting with a mix of instinct and adrenaline, lashed out his fist, connecting with the fan in a shocking display of aggression. The impact sent the fan reeling, and before the crowd could process what had just happened, Fat Mike followed up with a violent kick, propelling the fan back into the sea of onlookers. Immediately, the fan was carried off the stage. Later, the fan was brought into the Rockstars' dressing room, where Fat Mike apologized, and they hugged it out, squashing any beef between them. David Draiman. In the heart of Dallas, at the renowned House of Blues, a night of metal and melody took an unexpected turn when Disturbed frontman David Draiman unleashed a verbal onslaught that would echo beyond the venue's walls. The crowd, electrified by the band's performance, was jolted into silence as Draiman publicly humiliated a fan for an act as mundane as texting during the show. The woman in question, Shannon Peru, wrote in a Facebook post afterward, "There was a bad hailstorm going on at my house, and my 14-year-old daughter was at home freaking out, and yes, I was texting her to calm her down, but of course, the only person able to speak was the one with the microphone. He was a jerk. Disturbed just lost 2 big fans." Well, with this information, the rock star was forced to apologize to the fan. "I wasn't privy to the information of what she had going on, and when I made my original Facebook post, that information had not yet come out. I feel badly about it, and I am sorry. I can only say at this particular point that I think that tactic may be something that I, from here on out, remove from my live repertoire, because obviously there is the chance of me making that scenario happen again if I don't have the information that would keep me from making that mistake." He told reporters, "Well, as we have seen in the video, it's best to be on one's best behavior at a rock and roll concert, or there will be some humiliating consequences. If you enjoyed this video, click on the boxes playing on your screen."